What is going on, everyone, and welcome back to another video. Now today we're in the shed, we're working on Annie. Now before we talk about what's going on here, let's talk about the shed. Quick shed update. I think I've finally got some lights in here. That one's a different colour to that one, so that's getting changed, don't worry about that. I brought up the majority of my tools. That's all here. I've decided to make the back portion of the shed the workstation. So we've got an inverter for the lights, all the wiring. Got both my toolboxes, a little shelf, a little bench to do bits and pieces on. It's just a table from a caravan. Anyway, so back to today's topic, Annie. We're finally doing the wheel bearings. I've actually got this side's knuckle off already, but we'll talk about that in a minute. That's the problem side with that broken or stripped out stud or bolt. So we're going to take the whole, instead of trying to cut it out, I'll show you in a minute. I do have a spare knuckle to put on that side, so I'm just going to take the whole shock and knuckle out at the same time because it will be easier than trying to get an angle grinder in there and cutting it. So I've already taken this side off. It's just sat there degreasing at the moment. I think the plan is, let's move on over to the desk and I'll explain further. Right then, so this is the spare knuckle that I've got to replace the other side. I have degreased it, I have cleaned it, I've taken the old wheel bearing out and I've given it all a wire wheel. I'm going to paint this up. Got some Hammerite smooth silver. I thought, you know, if I make all this silver, paint the calipers black, it looks smart. I'm really annoyed because I'm just trying to get this last T30 out for the dust shield and it snapped the end of my socket off, which I'm a bit pissed off about. See if we can just try and get that off again. Oh yes, yeah, that's right, baby. Right, anyway, so you can see this is all nicely cleaned, it's all degreased, ready for paint. I'm going to do the same for the other one, hence why I've taken it off. It's sat over there and the thing, it is grubby. So this table's a bit flimsy, so I haven't got a vise or anything, so I'm going to take it home so I can put it in the vise and give it all a clean up, and I'll come back tomorrow and fit it. So that's what we've got. This is our new parts. Let's have a look what we got. So I ordered, what we got in here? I ordered 2 new stretch bolts for the shocks, for £12 each, and then we've got our new front wheel bearings. So I've already checked all this to make sure it's the right one. So we've got our new wheel bearings, nice and smooth. So that's that. And I also ordered, oh yeah, it's nice because it comes with a new axle bolt and new bolts to go in the back here, so that's really good. And then I did order, I ordered some new disc retaining screws because the ones in my old ones were snapped, so we can actually put the screw in, so I ordered the new screws for that. Anyway, right, let's paint this up. Right, you've seen me take this off about 1,000 times, so let's just crack on and get this off, get this whole assembly out. You got your 3 nuts. Blast them off. Very common on these that you like thread, de-thread themselves. me. Right, well, we got there in the end. Exactly what I was saying. It's really common on these that it's got like a nut stud. It's fucking stupid design. It's come loose, so I had to angle grind and cut it out. Oh, there's shit everywhere. So I'm going to tidy this up. Luckily we're not using any of that. I just got to try and find some. Oh look, you can see here that the 13mm nut bolt goes through. Then it's got this stupid nut on the end that's just press fitted on the bottom of them, of the top mounts, and they seize. So you can see that's not seen better days. But luckily we're using top mounts from that one, so I don't have to worry about that. One was salvageable, so I just got to find 2 bolts, but I'm sure I've got one at home. Oh, fuck, what? But anyway, oh fuck, what's going on, mate? Don't even know. I'm going to pack up for today and we'll carry this on tomorrow. Right then guys, it is the next day. I want to say that yesterday the ball leg stopped when I got home, but it didn't. I took the other knuckle home like I said, and I was going to take the 4 bolts out, but because of these stupid multi-splines, they're old, and when I put the socket in, I didn't even use an impact, I just used a breaker bar and it just span and destroyed all the threads. So I've tried to get it out, but even if I got 1 out, I need to get 2 out, so it's just not going to happen. I've ordered the new knuckle, so for now I'm going to have to put that old one back in, but at least we can continue putting this side in. So you can see paint's dried, don't mind all this because the wheel bearing will hide that. So let's assemble this one. I put the lowering spring, shock and all that stuff already in. I found bolts as well, so that's all good. I wasn't going to bore you with me trying to fit a shock. I haven't tightened it yet, but there was a lot of swearing, so just a faff. So we're going to put a new wheel bearing in. So we're going to place this. Don't know if there's a right way of putting it round. Doesn't look like. Oh, and I forgot to order another ABS sensor because I was going to rob the one out of that. Should have known that was going to be a ball leg. Snap the sensor. So don't have an ABS light on, which is a fucking standard. So I'm going to order one of them in a minute. But let's get to putting this wheel bearing together, and hopefully we can have some joy today. So this just presses in, and then I'm just going to give it a few light taps to fully seat it. That's all good. Then we're going to spin it around. All the bolts lined up. Now this wheel bearing kit came with new bolts. I was just going to put some lipstick on it. No, it's not. It's a blue Loctite on a windy stick, because you know I like to cause myself headaches. I'm just going to put a little bit on. I like the sticks, you can just dab it on. So we get them started. Right, then we're going to snug these up. You need an M12 socket. Send these in. There we go. I'm just going to leave them snug for now because I've actually bought myself a torque wrench, so I'm going to actually torque these. Let's flip this around. Oh, we've missed a bit of paint. So that's what it looks like. I'm going to touch up that little bit of paint, and it looks a lot smarter than before. So I'm just going to top up these little bits of paint where you can actually see, and we'll get to fitting this, I guess. Oh, I was going to paint the disc face as well. I don't know if I'll be bothered for that. I should do really, shouldn't I? So there, the rotor's done.
I'm just going to let them tack up and dry for a little bit, and then I'll do another coat. Wheel bearing, I just touched up, or the hub, sorry, that looks much better. I'll show you in comparison to the old one. You can see that's what I had to deal with. I put 2 decent ones in, but you can see that or that. Nice. Right, so Annie has had some damage with the angle grinder, so I'm put some paint on them. 3 bolts in. We've got our nice eye-buck lowering spring finally in. It's just loose at the moment because I need to tighten these bolts up. Hand tighten the bolts up, not with a gun. I did look up the torque settings for these, and it's 15 Newton meters. Unfortunately, I don't have a torque wrench that goes that low, so I'm just going to hand tighten them. Oh, thank God for that. This one's getting tight too. So that's snug. That's snug. Stupid place. That's snug. Right, that's all I'm going to do. Right, let's put the cowling back on. Wipers back on. Time has come to put this knuckle in. If you haven't got one of these, I don't know if I can show you this spreader tool, it will help you spread this knuckle out so you can get it on easier. Oh shit, I haven't done the fucking ball joint. Oh, BRB. We're not messing about here. Right, I've swapped the ball joint round. Just going to try and squeeze this up in here. Hope for the best. We're in, boys. So, knuckle. Wait, just go. Oh, there we go. There we go. We're in. Whew. We need to put our new shock bolt in. We put the drive shaft bolt in. We need to do the bottom nuts on here. Tie rod end's got to go back in. Sway bar end link's got to go back in, which you will need to jack up this hub assembly from the ball joint. Caliper disc, we're good, and all this wiring. Well, we haven't got an ABS sensor to go in, so I'm just going to cable tie this somewhere out the way for now. Okay, let me grab the stuff for that and we'll carry on. 15s back on. Pretty sure they're supposed to be 16s on the ball joint, but mine are 15s. Don't ask me why. We're going to torque all this to spec because we can. Stretch bolt. Put that through. Might need a little bit of persuasion. There we go. It's already fucking disgustingly dirty. New nut on the end. Just torque that down. So let's start with our pinch bolt, which you have to torque down to 60 Newton meters. Perfect. This is also 60 Newton meters, which is probably already there. I don't know.
topic. Right, next. So that's torqued. Just got to get our sway bar end link back in. Then we can fit our disc and our caliper. And then we should be good. Right, so if you're doing this with a scissor jack, good luck, respect, because it's a fucking ball ache. I wouldn't personally do it ever again. I've only done it because I've had to use this, but I've got my bigger jack now. So just jack that up a bit. God, I've done a bit too much, boys. That's good. Get the nut on. Spanner on the nut. And then get the Allen key on there. Right, that's now nice and tight. Give my socket back. There we go. And you can lower your jack. Happy days. And we can get our nice new painted disc on with a retaining screw. Let me check that I bought the right ones. Yes, I did. Slap this on them. Where the fuck the hole is? Right there. Oh, this is the only reason why I changed the wheel bearing, by the way. Nice. Look at that. That looks much nicer, sort of. So let's put the caliper on. I was going to paint the calipers black, but I'm not doing it today because I really can't be bothered. I'm done working on this Mark 5 for a while. Slot the caliper back on. Always do the bottom first, so you can touch the tabs. Tight, the caps back on. Perfect. Alright, so this is our final look. I will paint these black, I promise, but we're looking a lot smarter, all silver. So recap on what we've done. We finally put our lowering spring assembly on. I bought new stretch bolts, which you should do every time anyway. We've got brand new wheel bearings in, which now we've got our retaining screw. So now the disc won't go anywhere, and it doesn't take me 4 years to try and line it up with the wheel. Everything's torqued down to spec. All I've got to do now is just lower the car, and then I don't know if I'm going to use the new ones or not. We'll see. We'll see what we end up with. So yeah, I'm going to lower the car, put the wheel back on, torque this down. I think there's 2 different torque settings, depends on what nut you use. I just need to cable tie this out the way, because again I haven't got my ABS sensor in, because I need to order another one. So I'm going to have an ABS light on, which is fantastic. But I think that looks a lot smarter. All painted silver, doesn't take a lot of time. If everything goes right, which it didn't for me, but again, it's a old Volkswagen. But yeah, happy days. So just like that, Annie's back on the ground. Wheels are all torqued. Quite like the steel torque wrench actually. Not bad. 1/2-inch torque drive. Powerful advanced. I think it's like 90 quid. I've had it for ages, I've just never used it. So yeah, recap, we changed the wheel bearing on that side and painted the hub up and made it all look nice and pretty in the disc. Like I said, this side I can get the wheel bearing out because those multi-spline bolts are threaded, so that's not a problem. At least you got to see one side done, and you can envision what this side's going to look like. So I'll change that off camera, and then we'll have brand new wheel bearings on each side. So next video, guys, we'll be doing the thermostat. I'm going to order a new temperature sensor as well, and we've got this boost hose to replace underneath because Annie is leaking a bit of oil there. So stay tuned for the next video. That's what we'll be doing. And before I go, look at the state of these old bolts. These are the shock bolts, hence why you need to change them every time. So change your bolts, guys, because it will save you a lot of headache. For this video, don't forget to hit subscribe and the like button. I want to hit 1,000 subscribers this year, that'd be epic. And yes, so I'm going to tidy up all this mess. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye.